Thank you for clicking on the video. Here we're going to see what would happen if the Jets traded some of their first round picks for the Eagles quarterback Carson Wentz. In this particular scenario, as you can see here, the trade that I offered the Eagles, the Jets have 2 first round picks this year and 2 first round picks next year. Now, for Carson Wentz alone, I would have offered them our later first round pick. It seems like they want Wentz out. It seems like they want out of Wentz's contract, and they have a quarterback in Jalen Hurts. Apparently, that's what sources are saying now, that they're exploring trades for Wentz. So I would have just done the 1 first round pick, but the Jets also desperately need a defensive tackle, and the Eagles need to free up some cap space. And legendary D tackle Fletcher Cox is taking up a lot of that cap space. So I figured, why not go for both of these guys? I'll offer them a late first round pick from this year, a late first round pick from next year, and that wasn't enough for Madden here. So I threw in a 3rd round pick that we had lying around for this year. So for this trade, I gave away our 2021 first round and 3rd round picks, as well as a 2022 first round pick. All that's left to do here is to deal Sam Darnold away, because we don't have any use for him. Oh, look at that. Sam Darnold and Carson Wentz are the same overall. Is Carson Wentz even star? Carson Wentz is star, and Sam Darnold is normal. Okay, well, Carson Wentz is 28, and Sam Darnold is 24, so we'll see who wants Sam Darnold and what we can get him for. Oh, look at that. The Eagles are interested. Okay, so we were able to deal Sam Darnold to the Washington football team for a 2nd round pick this year. They need a quarterback, and Sam Darnold's still young. It's almost like they drafted Sam Darnold this year. That's how young he is. So hopefully Sam Darnold can turn his career around there with Ron Rivera, and they're able to surround him with some sharp young talent. Okay, so here we are at the draft, and I'm going to run through the whole first round so Madden can give us a little bit of a mock draft here. Keep in mind the Jets had 2 first round picks, and we traded our later one to the Eagles, but luckily we still have the 2nd overall pick. So we'll see what the Jaguars do here with the 1st overall pick. We're expecting them to take Trevor Lawrence, but Madden might have other ideas. I'll go ahead and advance to next play, and they do. They take Trevor Lawrence. Now it's our turn to draft a prospect, and we have all the options in the world here. We want to surround Carson Wentz with the best talent possible. And I think for this particular video, since I already took Jamar Chase in a previous video, I'm going to go ahead and take Penei Sewell, just because we need to protect our asset in Carson Wentz. He's a little bit injury prone. Once we have a very, very solid offensive line that'll keep him protected, that's when he'll start making some key plays for us. Yes, Penei is a left tackle. We already have Becton, who's also a left tackle. One of those guys will play right tackle. Maybe they could switch. Who knows? I think for now this is a once-in-a-generational O-lineman, and that's why we're going to pick him at number 2. And he's 75 overall hidden dev, which is great for an offensive lineman in this game. Alright, we don't have another pick until the 2nd round, but like I said, we'll just run through the whole first round, let Madden do a little mock for us. So the Falcons take Jamar Chase, 3rd overall. Dolphins go Kyle Pitts. Bengals, I don't know, okay, if you've been watching these videos, the Bengals have been taking a quarterback with the 5th overall pick almost every single time, and it doesn't make sense because they have Joe Burrow. The Eagles, with the 6th overall pick, take Devontae Smith. That was the pick that the Eagles already had, so they equip Jalen Hurts with Devontae Smith. The Lions go Jalen Waddle. Panthers take Rashad Bateman. The Broncos go Nixon. The Cowboys take Micah Parsons. And the Giants go Zaven Collins. 49ers go Gregory Rousseau. Vikings go Patrick Surtain. The Chargers go Caleb Farley. Patriots go Christian Barmore. Arizona takes an outside linebacker. Las Vegas takes another outside linebacker in Osai. Wyatt Davis heads to Miami. Washington football team takes Trevon Moehrig. The Bears go with Christian Darrisaw, left tackle. The Colts take rookie quarterback Zach Wilson. The Titans go with Jalen Phillips. Now, this is the Eagles' next pick, is the pick that we traded them. So this was originally our pick, and now it's the Eagles' pick. Let's see what they do with it. They go with Trey Smith, left guard. Pittsburgh goes with Bolton. The Jaguars take Rashawn Slater. Cleveland takes Kendrick at cornerback. Baltimore goes with Shaun Wade at cornerback. Saints take Pay at end. The Bills find a safety in Javon Holland. The Packers go right end, Basham Jr. The Buccaneers take a tight end with their pick, and then finally at pick number 32 of the first round, the Chiefs take Elijah Moore, wide receiver. So the Jaguars are up here in the second round, and they take Chaz Surratt at middle linebacker, and now the Jets have a pick. Let's keep in mind here the Jets have 2 second-round picks, not too far spread, and I'm going to be honest, I'm surprised Terrace Marshall didn't go in that first round, and I think equipping Carson Wentz with another great wide receiver like Terrace is only going to help. So I think this one's a no-brainer. Let's draft Terrace Marshall Jr. And he's 73 hidden dev. Right, heading into week 1 here, here's our official starting lineups for the New York Jets. Carson Wentz here at quarterback, 74 overall, star dev, 28 years of age. We've got 4 years left on his contract, so let's make them worth it and see if we can take the Jets all the way to a Super Bowl. Aside from Wentz, we made plenty of other off-season additions to the Jets team. Our second overall pick went to Penei Sewell, and Mekhi Becton's still on the team. He's just injured. He's going to be out maybe 2 weeks, I think they said, and he'll be on the other end of this O-line. Coming from the Eagles, I'm sure Wentz is used to having 2 great tight ends to throw to, so we kept Herndon, but we also signed Tyler Kroft in the offseason. Another offseason free agent that we signed was Marquise Goodwin. I really admire his speed, and Wentz was going to play with him this past season, except Goodwin opted out of the 2020 season, so they didn't get a chance to play together. I was not expecting to see a player like Terrace Marshall fall into the draft into our laps, and so that's why we're a little overflowing at the wide receiver position. Also Crowder on this side and Mims down here, so that's a pretty solid receiving group for Wentz to work with. I think in the 3rd or 4th round we took a running back in Javonte Williams. He's 73 normal dev. And that's pretty much our offense heading into the 2021 season. On the defensive side of the ball, Fletcher Cox is here. He's injured. He's an X Factor, 95 overall. Oh, he's out 15 weeks. Huh. How about that? We were able to re-sign Brian Poole and Marcus May, which I'm thankful for. We picked up outside linebacker in the draft. I think he was our 2nd round pick, one of our 2nd round picks. And in free agency, we went ahead and picked up former Eagles kicker Jake Elliott. So altogether, it's a 78 overall team with a 76 offense and 81 defense. Got to start somewhere, and as always, I'd like to play the first game of the first season with a new player. Get a chance to see what Carson Wentz looks like and how he feels on this Jets team. Okay, first quarter drive. Let's see what Wentz can do. They turn the ball over immediately, but we get the ball back, and we hand it back over to them. The Jaguars lead 3-0. Jaguars still have the ball, and now they're ahead 10-0. That's 2 scores they're ahead. 3rd down alert. What can we do about it? Red zone alert. We score a touchdown. Excellent. Let's see if we can hold them here. We can't. It's a 10-point game. Go for the field goal. We miss it. They're up by 10 in the second half. They still have the ball, the Jaguars, and now they've scored 20-7. Let's hop in and see if we can help. There's Wentz there, starting quarterback for the Jets. And our rookie running back Williams with the first down conversion. Still down 20-7. 4th down, we got to keep the drive alive. And we are not able to do it. 28-7. Oh, they really put a beating on us. Thanks for putting me in 3rd and 17. Like, what am I supposed to do? Hit as he throw. Ooh. Okay, not a pretty first game for us. Got absolutely manhandled. Carson Wentz tried throwing it 41 times and barely completed half of those passes. 2 touchdowns with only 1 interception. Rushing wise, we gave it to our rookie 14 times. He had an average of 3 yards per carry. And receiving wise, favored the tight end, which we expected. And I don't know. Nothing else really jumping out at me here. Hopefully this game wasn't a precursor of what's to come. Hopefully maybe we just had a bad week. We're getting in a rhythm here with our new quarterback. So we'll see how the Jets fare through the first half of this season. So the Jets are only 2-5, and while that matches our 2-win record of the previous season, if we keep this up, Robert Saleh could get fired. Trust me, I've seen this happen before in these video simulations. Wentz not having a fabulous year, has not even reached 2,000 yards yet with only 10 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. Rushing-wise, not a lot going on. If you've been watching these videos, you know that Perrine is a touchdown machine. On the receiving end of things, Jamison Crowder leading the way, which we expected, 5 touchdowns, over 500 yards. Goodwin producing for us, and Marshall getting in there just a little bit. Mims only has 3 catches this whole year so far. Look, I'm going to go ahead and sim to the playoffs, and don't be surprised if you see Saleh getting fired this season. Okay, so we haven't been fired. Robert Saleh hasn't been fired, but that being said, the Jets only went 5-11 this year. It's 3 wins better than last season, so at least we can say we're improving. Doesn't look like Carson had a great year. No, these are really modest numbers. 3,700 passing yards, 22 touchdowns, and man, that's a lot of interceptions. Almost as many interceptions as touchdowns, which is never good. Rushing-wise, this is pretty weak. Even Perrine and Williams combined, that's not even 1,000 yards. But Perrine really led the charge with 6 touchdowns. Receiving, both Goodwin and Crowder tied with 6. Herndon came in with 5 touchdowns. And our rookie Marshall had a pretty good year, 2 touchdowns, nearly 600 yards. CJ Mosley led the team with tackles. Quinnen Williams only with not great sack numbers here. But look at Fletcher Cox. Fletcher Cox, he was out 15 weeks, which means maybe he played 2 or 1 game, and he already had 3 sacks in those games alone. If he's healthy next year, who knows what he's going to be able to do? Or if he could keep it up, if Madden doesn't regress him too far. And Ashtyn Davis led the team with 2 interceptions. So it looks like the Eagles made it into the playoffs just barely in the 7th seed, but that means they didn't need Wentz at all to do it. It was a Jalen Hurts-led team. And it's looking like a Seattle-Cleveland Super Bowl. Well, when it came to the yearly awards, we had no Jets players win any yearly awards. Wentz wasn't even nominated for anything. Right, heading into year 2, here's a look at our lineup. Free agency, we picked up fullback Derek Watt. Carson Wentz, if we're looking at him, 75 overall star dev at 29 years of age. We got 3 years left on his contract. Running back crew is the same. Wide receiver group is the same. Terrence Marshall ended up being star dev. Right now he's 77 overall. And here's a look at our O-line. We've got our right guard is injured. He's a few overall points higher than Van Rotten here. But Penny Sewell ended up being a star dev. He's 81 overall right now. And on the other side is Mekhi Becton. That's not a bad protection group at all. Meanwhile, on defense, I think right now we have the best defensive line in the game. In free agency, we picked up Nandi. Star dev, 84 overall. Got him for a couple more years. And with the 5th overall pick, we picked up this left end, 78 hidden dev. I think he was the best player in the draft. Ashtyn Davis upgraded himself to star dev. He's 78 overall. In our linebackers, again, it's more of the same. Zuniga bumped up to the starting spot, and we picked up Christian Harris, backup middle linebacker, in the draft, and he's 73 hidden dev. So we've definitely made some solid improvements to this team. Let's go ahead and simulate to the midseason and see how they do. Alright, so midway point in the season, looks like the Jets are only 2-5. Carson, again, with not super impressive numbers here. Rushing-wise, Javonte picking up some of the slack compared to last season, leading the team with rushing touchdowns. Receiving, Terrace Marshall putting in the work, 5 touchdowns, nearly 500 yards. Crowder's production went down, I'm surprised. Maybe he was injured for a little bit. He's got almost half of the amount of receptions Marshall does. I also forgot to point out when I was going through our roster updates here that in the 6th round of the draft, we picked up a 3rd-string quarterback who ended up being our 2nd-string quarterback, who ended up being 65 hidden dev. We still got a couple years left with Carson Wentz, but if he's not going to win, he'll start to regress. Maybe this kid steps into position, or, if we don't win any more games, maybe Robert Saleh gets fired here. That's completely a possibility here, too. So let's hope for the best, and we'll sim to the playoffs and see if Carson Wentz and the Jets are able to turn things around here. Well, what I tell you, we got fired. Robert Saleh has been fired because the Jets did not produce well with Carson Wentz at the helm. We'll see here if we can check the standings. Yep, we're pretty low. Didn't get 500. The Jets finished in last place. Last place of the entire league. They're going to have the number 1 overall pick. They're 3-13. 3-13. Carson, while the passing yards went up, and that's impressive, the passing touchdowns stayed relatively low, and his interceptions were nearly matched his 22 touchdowns. He had 20 interceptions. That's a lot. So, I don't know what to say about whether he's progressing or not, or getting comfortable in New York. Rushing-wise, between the two of these guys, it's a 1,000-yard season. 10 touchdowns combined, which is cool. Carson Wentz ran the ball quite a bit, and I guess he didn't get hurt or anything, so good for him. Receiving-wise, very, very close to 2,000-yard seasons. Terrace Marshall led the team with 7 receptions. Jamison Crowder, who's always consistent with 5 touchdown receptions himself. And Mims with 4. Good for Mims here. Defensive side of things, C.J. Mosley led the team in tackles. Fletcher Cox with double-digit sacks. Quillian Williams as well. Like I said, that was a high-powered defensive line. C.J. Mosley, who led the team in tackles, also led the team in interceptions with 4. And while we're checking player stats, let's check in on Sam Darnold, who in the offseason signed with the Steelers. And that's a pretty modest season. 30 touchdowns, though, that's nothing to tip your cap to. That's a solid season right there. And it looks like the Steelers went 7-9 this year with Sam Darnold. Looks like a Colts-Buccaneers Super Bowl. I don't think we're going to be able to see who wins here unless someone gives us a job offer, maybe? I don't know. I'm surprised that we have 3 job offers since we have yet to have a winning season. But let's check it out. The Bengals, who have both Joe Burrow and I think it was Justin Fields, which is crazy, are offering us a deal. Las Vegas Raiders, who have a 91 overall offense, want to give us a deal. And the Cardinals, 5-11, want to give us a deal. Let's just go with the Bengals. Okay, it looks like the Colts won 28-25. And let's see if we could check out the yearly awards. MVP went to Ryan Tannehill, I guess. Well, I just checked. There's no Jets players who won any yearly awards. Carson Wentz was not nominated for anything. Let's see if we could sim a couple seasons and see if this Carson Wentz thing works out. Okay, so the Bengals didn't make the playoffs, and I don't see that the Jets made the playoffs. Bengals went 8-8. All I did was sim. I didn't even draft or anything. And the Jets went 6-10, which is better than last season, but you want to be at least 500 at this point. That's a great year out of Joe Burrow. Really great year. Freaking Justin Fields on the bench. Carson, his numbers are up. His passing yards still over 4,000, but man, those interceptions, they'll come back to hurt you, man. Can't have that many interceptions. And it looks like that backup quarterback ended up being star dev, 68 overall. Okay, I think Carson has 1 year left on his deal at this point. Let's see what happens. So my new team, the Bengals, went 10-6, and they're in the wild card. Again, I've just been simulating, so I had nothing to do with it. Let's see, the Jets still are not in the playoffs. The Jets went 6-10 2 years in a row now. And that should have been the final year of Carson Wentz's deal. I guess Justin Fields is the Bengals starter now. Wonder what happened. Maybe Joe Burrow's contract was up? I don't know. But that doesn't matter. We're looking at the Jets. And Carson is a 74 normal dev. Did they draft Talia. They drafted Talia, 77 star dev, and Carson got benched. So there you have it. The Jets went ahead after they fired Robert Saleh. They drafted Carson Wentz's replacement while he was still there, which I would have done the same thing. I would not have stuck around with Carson Wentz unless he made a deep playoff run one of those seasons, and he didn't. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to turn his career around, and this is the route the Jets went. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any more ideas for what the Jets could be doing this offseason, whether it's trade for another player or picking up someone special in the draft, leave a comment down below and I'll make that video. And be sure to check out Best Available Player for more cool content just like this.